I'm Alan Rozenshtein. I'm an associate professor here at the University of Minnesota Law School. So there are three main things that I study. The first is surveillance, and especially the use of digital technology to enhance government surveillance. The second is the regulation of tech companies, large platforms like Facebook and TikTok and Twitter, especially when speech and expression concerns come up. And then the third area that I work on is executive power, presidential power, and what we do when presidents misuse that power. This year I'm teaching constitutional law, which is a lot of fun because it's 1L first semester, so right when they enter law school, a new topic, and also they're new to law in general. And I also teach legislation and regulation, which is a course that a lot of 1Ls take in their spring semester, and I teach that usually every year as well. So one thing that I notice that happens for a lot of students, and I really hope happens, is what I think of as developing intellectual empathy. And this is the ability to consider an argument that's new to you, that maybe you disagree with, but really put yourself in the position of someone who believes that argument and to make the strongest version of that argument before you then decide whether you agree with it or disagree with it. So I think the main thing that surprised me was how nice everyone was. That I was not expecting. There's this famous movie, The Paper Chase, that everyone should watch because it's very entertaining and is actually fun to watch because it bears no resemblance to contemporary law school. But that has been the caricature of law school. Everyone's mean, everyone's super competitive, the professor's out to embarrass you, and there's just none of that. Like literally none of that when I went to law school, and there's none of that here at the University of Minnesota. And so the thing I loved when I went to law school and that I love to see in my own students is everyone's trying to help each other. So I am blessed to have a very energetic toddler. So right now I don't have quite as much time for my hobbies as I ordinarily would like, but chasing him around the house and the backyard is one of those hobbies. Also really like cooking, and that's been really, really fun. It's something I've always really enjoyed, and kind of doing all sorts of cooking experiments. And what's nice is that, especially when it comes to baking, I can bring overflow into the class, and that's always a nice way to put a smile on students' faces. I think it's really important to treat law school like a job, which is to say, to be really organized, to be really on the ball when you're working, when you're on, but also to set some boundaries. Part of that is having really good time management and being able to work without distraction and be really organized, when you're on the clock, as it were, but also recognizing that this is the beginning of your legal career, and that has to be sustainable, right? It can't be a sprint, it's a marathon. And the only way to do that is to make sure that when you're on, but when you're off, and you're having fun and you're living your life, because you're not gonna be able to live your life in the future, you can only live it now.